If you see 1994 notification, at that time only that few types of activities that are do require the environment clearance, and at the same time there was a investment criteria is also available for certain category of the projects. But of course, for certain category of the projects like say pharmaceutical industry, mining, that was not subjected to the investment. Remaining one, there's a new projects more than 100 crores do require the environment clearance, and expansion more than 50 crores do require the environment clearance. These are the list of activities that do require the environment clearance under 1994 notification. If you see that total, the list is 30, but there was no threshold values that has been given at the time of 1994 as an activity per se has been expressed in the notification. If you see there are the different policy reforms have come, and there are the other acts and regulations is also changed. We need to align to those activities. Say there's a mines and mineral development regulation has been amended in 2015, and coal mine special provisions have come. Mineral Laws Act 2020 has come. The mineral other than atomic hydrocarbons and energy concession amendment rules 2020 have come. The mineral action rules have come, and pre-embedded clearance guidelines have been issued by the Ministry of Mines, and comprehensive guidelines were issued by the Ministry of Coal. And if you see, there are several core directions have also come under different provisions of the notification and the process of the EIA in the country. If you see the major judgment, one of the TM Godavaram versus Thermal Power, so there, it has given certain direction that there should not be any pay take-up situation, and the system should have the transparency, use of digital tools and national regulator. Then the Deepak Kumar versus Union of India saying that so why don't we bring the mining of minor minerals, even the small mines, even less than 5 hectares also into the process, because at the time the people were deliberately cutting the leases less than 5 and circumventing the process. So to curtail such situation, the Deepak Kumar judgment has given certain directions to the government to bring the less than 5 hectares is also into the process, and including a cluster situation, so that there should not be any mushrooming. And then common cause and the Goa Foundation judgments have come basically on the illegal mining and validity of the EC, which was granted in 1994 notification. And then they also said that the new EC means new lease means a new EC. Then other judgments which cancelling the blacks and subsequent to the subsequent bidders. And you all know this National Green Tribunal has given the certain directions on mining of minor minerals, how it has to be appraised and what has to be considered under B2, B1 and category A. And they also define the cluster situation. So, and they also raise the concerns on the district level impact assessment authority. So these are all subsequently come as a directions to the government. See, if you see what is going in the around the world, see, not only in the country, so there are now we are living the global as a country, as a global player. So what is going, whether this terms of reference, whether this public hearing, whether this the EIA process is available everywhere in the country. So if you see some research of say what is happening across the countries in the globe, so if you see the process in the China is almost the similar like category A, category B and category C. If you see in the red color, so that do require the environmental impact assessment report, then the environmental impact form and environmental impact registration form. Though there is a change in the terminology, but the process is almost similar to the what is there in the country. See, if you see the process, I will rush through because the time given is a very paucity of time. So just we'll see what is there in the across the country, globe. So this is the process in the Russia and in the Japan and Portugal, South Africa and Turkey, European Union and Thailand, Germany, Australia, then Scotland, Iran, European Union, Netherlands, Japan, Malaysia. Then if you have say actually there was a tabulation which is available. So what is exactly there in the 54 countries? So each of the component, if we can able to compare, so that is also since some research has been taken place, say like that, say right from taking to the Afghanistan, so Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and see the developed countries like America, Britain, and other countries. So and Zimbabwe, like that, about 54 countries. The comparison was made to understand what actually happening in the across the globe. So if you go to what are the real key changes? See, basically one of the major objective is comprehensiveness. So everything which is available in bits and pieces, why don't we bring it as a comprehensive document so that anybody gets referred, so they should have a fair idea what is required and what is not required in order to in order to avoid the ambiguity, and at the same time, what is the action process. So to get the environment clearance, that has to be available at the one document that will help everyone, including the project proponent, consultants, and the regulators. Then rationalization of categories of the projects. See, in 2006, the first time it has been introduced that the category A and B, so delegation at the state level has happened. Now 14 years has happened and the states have gained a lot of experience and expertise, and they can able to handle more and more projects. So why don't we delegate? Why don't we decentralize? That is another principle that has come into the picture. And for small projects where the low pollution potential is there, very small projects are there, whether to have the same process which is also available and say applicable for the category A and B projects. Why don't we make a small cost tracking? Because the smaller people has to give some hand to help them. Then encouraging the modernization. See, any modernization, any change in the improvement in the system and performance of the system definitely not only increases the performance of the production as well as so there is a less reduction in the emission, discharges, and the waste also. So when it is environmentally friendly, why can't we encourage? That is another concept. Then so introduction of instant TOR and the new channels for public consultation. And I will giving all the details of this rationalization of public consultation process and validity of EC at TOR. Then flexibility in data collection, non-comprehensive EC violation, and strengthening of monitoring mechanism. If you see, so in the entire process, this is the weakest chain in the entire process that has to be strengthened, and we have to rope in what are the infrastructure that is available across the country with the CPCBs, SPCB, and other government and institutes and CSR laboratories. Why can't we use the expertise and experience available with them to verify the compliance so that the environmental performance in the country can be improved? That is another thought has been taken into consideration. And delegation of power to the states. Then procedure for EC has been given very explicitly by giving the flow charts in the notification itself. And some of the learnings from the implementation of EA 2006 is also taken into the consideration for explaining what is actually it is there. Then enabling the concepts of the scientific principles has also taken into the consideration, because any project will leave their footprint on the based on two components. One is say what is the nature of the project, what is the size and magnitude of the project, and second is the location. See, say suppose some thermal power plant which is placing in the Delhi and in the rural area will have the same impact, will not have. So it has got the component of the two things. One is the nature of the project and the magnitude of the project, and at the same time, it also has got the vulnerability of the location is also has to be taken into the consideration. So this is the function of three principles as three functions. See, I said the 55 amendments and standalone notification have been taken into consideration. See, if you see the whatever the amendments that are there, so like that, so it has been tabulated in a very systematic manner, so that the what are the notification and in which paragraph it has been addressed, so that nothing should be left, so that a comprehensiveness has to be come into the picture. Like that, say the integration of circulars, so that has also been listed. And coming to the rationalization, if you see the categorization earlier and now, so earlier whatever is there, say category A and B. B was further divided into B1 and B2 with the based on the discretion and the diligence of the committee on case-to-case basis. When it is a subjective and discretion is left to the committee, so there may be a chance of the ambiguity, and at the same time there may be a biasness. So in order to avoid the discretion and the subjectivity, it has been made into a more objective and clear threshold values have been defined in for the category B2 projects and integrated in the notification itself in the schedule. So what is mean by B2 and what are the threshold values that is applicable under each of the item has been clearly explicitly defined in the notification. So this is basically the concept. And if you see what actually why we have to go for the nationalization and decentralization. See, the first time it has been introduced in 2006. Now 14 years has happened. So states have gained a lot of experience and expertise. So why don't we give the small projects to the state level so that the project proponent can approach their own state heads and then they can take the environment clearance. So this is the concept of decentralization. Always say decentralization will give you more flexibility and more freedom to the people. That is the one concept. And second thing is the technology driven platform. Now Parvesh has been introduced, so wherein the entire process is being now automated. So there is no intervention, right from say receiving of applications, then the appraisal and processing, and issuance of the ECs, everything has been digitized. And it has been now implemented across the states on pan-India basis. When the technology-driven platform is there, now that it is, say, if you price at the, say, in the Delhi or Bhopal or Chennai, it doesn't matter. Then the philosophy is where we have taken that the small and MSME projects is the more local impacts, and then why don't we give it to the states? And then the large, which has got the cross-boundary projects, so where the pan-India implications are there too, so it has to be appraised with the central level. See, some categorization I will check. See, what is the say benefit when we make, say, some of the technological changes also, say the clean technologies also be promoted like that. Say 2006 and 2020, what is the vis-a-vis comparison is there? Like the industrial area, when it is located in the within the industrial area where there is no requirement for alternative site examination, so the instant concept has been introduced. See, there is no compromise in the environmental perspective. Here we have tried to streamline the process wherever there is no requirement of such a link in that, so that we can see the entire port chart diagram. If you suppose say some unnecessary elements has been removed, the process will be efficient and expedient. That is the major concern. See, if you see the new expansion of small and medium projects, you can see small and medium projects which are located in the since it has been brought into the environmental permission concept, so system driven, the environment clearance is given in, say, earlier it is 135 days to the 15 days. See how much change, the drastic change has come. So here, whether are we compromising on environmental perspective? No. So here the things have been streamlined, IT tools have been used so that the system can be efficient. Like that. So what are the vis-a-vis comparison is there? So that has been given. If you want the, say, each item wise, so whether it has been changed or if it is changed, and there is a say substantiation and justification for it, like mining of minor mineral, coal, offshore and onshore projects. See, as earlier speaker said, so earlier it was a category A and now it is in case of offshore and onshore. So it is in the 2006 under 2006 notification also, it has been brought into the B2 category for exploration only, not for the development and production. Now also the same thing is there. The hydroelectric projects, so that threshold value will increase to at the state level, but there is no change in the appraisal process. Instead of appraisal at the Delhi, now it may be appraisal at the Dehradun or at Ranchi. That is only difference. And the irrigation projects, so there is no change like that. So what is each of the component that has been given here, like the coal wash coal washer is, whereas the physical process, when it is only physical process, that the low pollution potential. So that is by all the projects have been delegated to the state level, like chemical processing, pellet plants, then integrated steel plant, then sponge iron, ferroalloy, then non-ferrous melting, the secondary metallurgical industry, particularly the secondary metallurgical industry. So these are the secondary in nature. So and it is not so complicated like the primary metallurgical industry. So more and more projects have been delegated to the state level. Like that, you can see. So charcoal and soda, skin, hide, man-made fiber, and all. So this is the list of the categories. If we go by each item, so I have to take the all 3 hours. So that if you say fast tracking of the EC for the small projects is also another. Earlier in the 2006, there is a discretionary and subjectivity was involved because it has been delegated to the CS. So the on case-to-case basis definitely will have subjectivity and conditions being prescribed on case-to-case basis and guided by issuance of OM circulars and guidelines, non-uniformity interpretation across the regions and sectors. So in the 2006, it has been explicit and standardized and eliminate the ambiguity, that is the clarity to the proponents, consultants and regulators, and uniformity across the states. So on the pan-India basis, the procedure will be same. Then small projects and activities with low potential impact on the environmental categorized V2 in both EIA 2006 and 2020. Not only this particular, the small is under V2 is not introduced first time. Earlier also it was there, but it has been now more explicitly mentioned and where clarity has been given. The process of granting the EC for such projects is streamlined here using the IT tools so that the registration system type is developed in this. So environmental environmental permission will be given without referring to the expert committee and with the standard conditions, appending the standard conditions. So system generated permission will be issued under this. So this is the difference between the clearance and the permission. So if you see by the flow chart also, so this is the one. So earlier application in the form 1 with the pre-feasibility report and EMP, now it is also same. Earlier it is scrutiny by the CR, now it is a scrutiny by the CR and appraisal by the CAC. So now there is no appraisal in the AC directly. So system generated EP will be given with the standard conditions. So encouraging the modernization, as I said, the modernization, that means so change in the process, technology, change in the raw material mix, product mix, debottlenecking. As I said, any change in the any modernization that will definitely will have the performance as well as reduction in the discharge emissions and the waste also. So earlier it was left, it is a subjective. Now it has been made more objective. Here, so as the earlier speaker said that expansion up to 50%. So no, here the 50. Here only modernization only has been given as a the relaxation up to 50% at the public consultation, but not for an expansion. See, expansion everywhere, all the expansion is now brought under the ambit of the entire process. But here the modernization, why the modernization has been given? So the reason being is when the pollution load and see either same or reduction or the very minimum increase is there. So do also require the process, the entire process that is applicable for the afresh. That is the one question has to be taken into consideration. So that is why here it has been given. But whatever is there, earlier it is there, but earlier these provisions were there as a subjective. Now it has been more objective and explicit, so that it will not be a confusion for anybody. Say, I can say, for example, suppose somebody has got, say, cupola with their foundry. Now he has been changed to the technology and say in IF, that is induction furnace or electrical arc furnace, which is a more environmental friendly and efficient system is being placed and planned. So whether also he has to go the entire process, because since he's using the best technology and clean technology, he has to be given some benefit, some credit to in the process, so that here that system has been given. See, modernization with increasing the production capacity and all. So different permutation and combination, and in order to avoid the ambiguity, even examples are also given into the in the notification the first time, so that there will not be any ambiguity. If any ambiguity is there, people will go for the litigation. Lot of litigation will come. Unnecessarily, the project proponent and the consultants and everybody will suffer. So what is the necessity for it? If it is clear, so it will be clear for everyone. See, the concept of instant TAR has been introduced, as I said. So in case of expansion projects and the projects which are located in the industrial components. One is the site suitability, and second is the what is the nature of the project. Because since the standard TARs have already been developed for all the categories of the projects, so that second part is eliminated. Then the first part is the site suitability. In case of expansion and projects which are located in the industrial, this already been appraised and that particular site is already been considered that is suitable. So that component is also not there. Since it is not there, so that concept of instant TAR has been introduced here. So the new channels of public consultation means, so nothing has been given extra here. So here, see, whenever such situations like say pandemics are there, emergency situations are there, and force majeure situations are there. So in such cases, then the expert appraisal committee, based on the nature of the project, based on the situation, on case-to-case basis, can take a call for other modes of the consultation. Then rationalize the public consultation, since because in some of the states the availability of the ADM level officers is very big the problem. For the small projects, now it has been delegated to the SDM level, because whether ADM or SDM is not the criteria, but whether the concerns have been addressed or the taken or not is the criteria. So coming to the notice period, of course, it has been we thought that development of the IT tools and the communication system in the present era. So why can't we reduce the timeline to 30 days to 20 days? So that has been considered. So that is a major. If you take the what are the public exemption which are there in the earlier notification and present notification, if you see, absolutely there is no change in the public hearing exemption list. So here that one of the concern that has been said is All the project and activities concern the national defense and security involving other strategic consideration, which is also there in the principal notification of the 2006 that has been reiterated. Nothing has been added here. And at the same time, it is not now. Earlier it was no definition was given. Now it has been given the definitions in this, so that there will not be any ambiguity and there is not discretion is left to the persons and it is not subjective. The validity of the EC. So as he said, so the earlier it was 30 years. See, for thermal power plants after completion of his plant, it's a perpetual. It is a life. So like that, in case of the mining project, is also earlier life only, but subject to a maximum of 30 years. At the time, MMRD provides a 20 years of mining lease can be extended for another 10 years. So that is 30 years. That is why it has been taken as 30 years. Now the MMRD provides the 50-year validity of the lease period directly, so that it has been aligned with the provisions of MMRD. But here now we have taken first time that is the subject to the commencement of mining operations in the 10 years. So in order to say avoid the people to have the grab the things. So it has been aligned with the subjective class has been introduced. Then River Valley and nuclear projects, because the implementation times requires much, so it has been increased from earlier it was 10 years and now it has been increased to 15 years. But other project, if you see the 7+3, the first instant they used to give the validity 7 years and extendable for 3 years, total 10 years. Now also at one go it is given the 10 years. So whatever the validity which can be given to the project, at one go it has been given, but overall time remains same. In case of the terms of reference also it is same. It is now proposed for the one time, so that the transactions to the regulatory authority unnecessary rounding to the offices has been reduced. And then validity of the EC, as I told you, then the flexibility of the data collection. So this flexibility has been given through an office memorandum. Now it has been given in the notification itself, so that the legislative backup. So distinction in the non-compliances and violations. So there used to be earlier a lot of ambiguity. What is meant by non-compliance and violation, that has been defined in the definition itself. And dealing, see notification. This notification cannot override the Environment Protection Act. So whatever the provisions are there in the Environment Protection Act only has to be taken into consideration. The polluter pay principles has been followed. And presently there is no mechanism after the completion of this window. There is no mechanism. Suppose somebody is inadvertently are not taken any environment clearance, only the closure is only the criteria, dismantling is only the criteria. Can't it be bring? Suppose somebody has been constructed some plant, so without taking the environment clearance, but he has taken something, considered all the plans, can't it be taken and can't it be given the environment clearance? But of course, because he has not taken the environment clearance, so there will be a fine, there will be a action under the law, that is under section 15 and section 19 that has been there. So all the entities not complying with the environmental regulation be brought under the ambit in the expedient manner. Otherwise, what happens is if you leave that, so they will continue to pollute. So that is much more dangerous than the bringing them into the ambit of the notification. Here there is no post facto is being given. So here it is from the date it gives that the environment clearance will be given. But the violation which was already made, so that is definitely. See, if you see the court orders, see, consideration of the environment provision must be examined on the merits and the independent, and any proposed action for the alleged act violation is parallel and independent. Then, as this, and we make it clear that the EC will come into the force not earlier than the date of its grant. So it is from the date of grant only. And so ultimately here the no dilution has been taken into the consideration. If you see that he is now liable for the action under section 19 and 15 and late filing fee, damage charges, that is 1.5 to 2 times the which has been given in the window period. So it is a more punitive and stringent than the earlier things. And here, since the damage assessment and the remediation is there, so if any contamination and if it is suppose done, damage is there, that can be repaired now. See, this is basically the flow chart. When the violation project come into the cognizance, so there may be a two-case scenario. One is the positive and one is the negative. So in the present laws, if it is not at all permissible, so it will be directed for the closure and remediation also. And action under the section 19 and 15 also. If it is positive, by giving some, say, remediation plan and by, say, environmental measures, if it is positive, then it will have the two components. One is the process will be there along with the damage assessment, and second thing is parallelly, independently, there is an action part is also there under section 15 and 19, which is also even there is an imprisonment is also there. So it is not that just anybody can start the project and all. So he's subjected to the say punishment under it is a criminal offense. So suppose somebody wants say without taking care of the criminal offense also, then he has to pay for it. So these are the different. If you see from the 1999 and to the present. So earlier, so there was a no say action there in the 99 and 2010. There is no there was an action proposed. Now it is there. Remediation plan earlier it is not there, in the notification it is there, now it is there. And the community augmentation, now it is a more punitive, 1.5 to 2 times. And late filing fees also there in this particular notification. So this is the action. What is the procedure to bring him for the compliance is also taken into the consideration. SPCBs, we have worked with the third-party institutions like the NITs, IITs, CSIR laboratories, and the arms of the ministries like the JSI, BSI, Wildlife Institute of India, and other NIOTs. Whoever has got the government institutes, wherever the capacity, experience, expertise is available, why can't we use that thing to the system for the improvement? Then, if you see the comparison, so almost so because the time is much limited, so there are the other speakers is also has to speak. So if you see the exemption part, of course, so there is a vis-a-vis comparison is there. So absolutely whatever is there earlier, now it is there. Earlier it was there in the bits and pieces, and so it has to be searched. So whether the activity do require environment clearance or not. So now everything has been taken and collated at one paragraph. Or otherwise, some minor additions were there where based on the clean technology, where there is an R&D. Suppose, for example, R&D in the smaller scale, say in a laboratory scale. Earlier, some people used to interpret that also do require. If somebody wants to make something, some synthetic synthesization, so do and make a research, do also require a public consultation that has to be thought of. Like that. So wherever there is an ambiguity, wherever the clean technology, wherever the clean fuel that is there, and small operations are there, traditional communities, artisans, and the village community and village infrastructure creation activities are there, like the borrowing of earth and all. So that has been exempted. So like the procedure, if you can see earlier it was a verticals. Now the say everything will the start from the pervasion. The system, the data flows in the system itself so that it can be analyzed. So there should be, we can maintain a uniformity, and this data can also be utilized for the research purposes also. So these are the authorities. So earlier there was a ESC at the ministry level and a CR, DIA. Now there is no DIA, but this district expert appraisal committees will report directly at the state level. So these are the general condition vis-a-vis. Then see, earlier there are some say activities do require some amalgamation, splitting, resolution before NCLT and MMRDA Act amendments. So these are the things which were really bothering. So that has been now in the notification it has been addressed. Like the standardization process, for every transaction the forms have been devised and given so that it will be clear to everyone. So if you want a detailed comparison by say line by line, also that has been there. So that what is the requirement, why it has been changed, whether it has been prompted by some say code direction or some experience, and earlier there was some ambiguity, so that was there. So the all considered decision has been taken with this thing, and thank you from my part.